As an ESL teacher, are you constantly looking for games and activities to keep your lessons fun and engaging without having to spend too much time preparing? If so, you've come to the right place. Today, I have 5 great activities that you can use right away that will leave your students wanting to come back for more. So let's jump right into game number 1, the time game.
This is a fun way to review time with your students. All you need is a die and some markers. If you don't have markers, you can use erasers instead. The students can do rock, scissors, paper to decide who goes first. I have another video showing how to play that, so please check that one out. Then they take turns rolling the die and then saying the time on the square that they land on. For example, Team A rolls the die and they roll a 2. 1, 2. Team B would ask, "What time is it?" Team A would answer, "It's 7. Team B would then roll the die, and they get a 4. They'd move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Team C would then ask, "What time is it?" And Team B would answer, "It's 4:20. Now, they rolled on a square that has a die on it, so they get to roll again. So Team B rolls again. And let's say they roll a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, Team C would ask, "What time is it?" Team B would answer, "It's 11:15. And then we would continue on. The team who gets to the finish line first wins. To find this game, you go to ESL Collective. It's a fantastic website. Click on ESL worksheets right here, and then go in the search and type in board game time, and then hit search, and it should be right on the first page. Scroll down. There's usually a couple games. There's one game. I use this game right here. I'm going to click on this to make it bigger so we can print it, and there you go. All you need to do is scroll down and then click on the print button. If you're not a member, it's free to become a member. Just register. If not, you just log in to print this. I do want to give a shout out to Jeremy over at Bingo Bongo Learning. It's a fantastic ESL website. He's the one that created this game. Please go check it out. There are a lot of great resources there. Now let's move right on to game number 2, the clapping game.
This is a fun and challenging game for the students. And for the teacher, you do not need any material. All you do is have the student start counting one number at a time. And when you get to the 5th student, she claps instead of saying the number. Let me show you.
Student A says 1. Student B says 2. Student C says 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oops! I should have clapped. We have to start back at 1 again. And then student A says 1, 2, 3, and we continue until we get to our goal.
When I start this game, I will write 1-30 on the board and tell the students our goal is to get to 30 without any mistakes. If anybody drops the ball, we start from 1 again until we reach our goal. But if you want to make it more challenging, you can change the multiple.
Let's say you change it to 6. Not only would they have to clap on 6, 12, and 18, but 16, 26, and any number that has a 6 in it would also be a clap. If you go beyond 59, all the numbers from 60 to 69 would also be a clap. So it gets a bit tricky. It's simple, but the kids really like it and get very, very excited. Speaking of like, smash that like button if this has been helpful so far. And now let's move on to a classic card game called Go Fish.
For this game, you just need a deck of cards, and as you can see, my cards get a lot of use. I would pre-teach the phrases.
Do you have a blank? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Go fish. The students would have to repeat after me. This game is awesome because they pick up on these phrases right away. So, it goes like this.
Each player gets 7 cards. I'll be player 1, player 2, and player 3. The remaining cards go right in the middle. Normally, the cards would be facing down, but for demonstration purposes, I have them facing up today. Player 1, which is me, can ask either player 2 or player 3, do you have a? So I will ask player 3, do you have a king? Player 3 says, yes, I do. And player 3 would give all the kings to me, which is player 1. Since they had a king, I would go again. I'll say this time, player 2, do you have a 6? Now it's important that the player has to have the card in order to ask the question. I do have a 6, so I can ask that question. So player 2, do you have a 6? Player 2 does not have a 6. Player 2 is right here. So player 2 would say, no, I don't. Go fish. Player 1, which is me, would pick up a card, and I would put my card right down here, and then player 2 would go. 5 minutes into the game, it may look something like this. Player 1, which is me, I have 1 point, 4 kings. If you get 4 of one number, you get a point. Player number 2 has 4 9s and 4 8s. They have 2 points, and player number 3 has 2 points as well, 4 4s and 4 10s. The winner of the game is the team with the most points. Sometimes this game may be a bit long. You can remedy that a few ways. First, you can set a timer for 5 minutes or any amount of time, and when the timer goes off, the team with the most points wins. You can also say whichever team gets 4 points first wins, or 5 points, or 3 points, whatever you decide. But make sure the students are using the phrases. That's very important. Okay, next up is Guess a Number Game. This game requires no preparation from the teacher. The students must know a certain amount of numbers to play. It teaches too large and too small. I would start by saying, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 20. And I would hold a card out like this. Can you guess what it is?
I would draw a line on the board like this. 1 on the left and 20 on the right. And then to show a timeline, I might draw a line like this. The students would have to guess one at a time. The first student may ask, is it 8? Then I would say, it's too small, and I'd write the number 8 on the board. The second student may ask, is it 19? I would say, it's too large, and I would write 19 on the board. Let's say the third student asked, is it 15?
I would say yes and turn over my card. That's all there is to it. To make it more challenging, you can limit the number of guesses the students get. You can say you only have 6 guesses to get the correct answer. Once the students learn this game and the phrases, they can play the teacher and think of a number. You can also increase the range of numbers, for example, from 1 to 100. Now, on to our last number game, which is the How Many game. This game is also no prep for the teacher. You're teaching the phrase,
how many blank are there? I would use objects in my classroom. I would choose a student and say,
how many windows are there? The student would stand up, go around the room, and count how many windows. The student would say, there are 6. I did this with the lights in my classroom, and there are a lot of lights. It was fun watching the student add up all the lights in the classroom.
You can ask doors, backpacks, desks, chairs, erasers, whatever you can think of. I do want there to be at least 2 of these, so the student would always answer, there are blank.
After doing this a few times, you can have the student come up with the questions and the answers. As you can see in my games, I always want the students to take over my role.
Well, that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you got some new ideas that you can try in your classroom. For more games and activities, check out my other videos. Thanks again, and I wish you all the best in your classroom.